And welcome to NPCs of Wildemount with myself, Bronzebeard, the grand and field pirate of the Seven Seas.
Bronzebeard. That's the pirate name. So we're gonna do just as the opening. We're gonna do a visual representation of how the pirate fight went in this episode.
Yes, fuck ye, the Mighty Nein.
Now give me your shit.
Hello and welcome to NPCs of Wildemount with myself, Oliver Dungeon Master, and...
That's not a pirate accent.
No, I'm going...
I don't know what this is. I think it's an old man. You've
constipated old man.
A constipated old man accent.
I haven't taken a shit in weeks.
Hello and welcome to episode 47 of Critical Role.
Yeah, this is... Review and recap of
yes.
episode 27.
Yeah, that's it. Sorry.
You're probably thinking to yourself, well, Critical Role has gone low budget.
Yes. Sorry. It's early in the morning, our brains haven't kicked in.
Yeah, this is the earliest I've been up in like 3 hours.
It's 10 AM. Okay? I get up a lot earlier than this, but it's just the coffee hasn't kicked in for me. So, anyway. Yes, this is a review of episode 47 of Campaign 2 called The Second Seal, and that was a fun.
Shit.
Thanks, Ollie.
I was hoping because you were in the middle of a sentence, you wouldn't have heard that.
Everyone heard that.
Hi, Oliver. This is Jesse from Wildemount Community.
You don't need to read it. Why are we reading it? Put it down. Read it later.
I have to get a blood test.
It's like, even if it was emergent, like, I guess dire emergency, yeah. To be honest, it wasn't going to be.
Oh man, well the Warcraft subscription right now. Yeah. Pause the video, I need to review this shit right now.
Anyway.
Yes, so essentially the
first episode of the year, we should really say that.
2019 kicks off with a bang with a whole bunch of roll initiative. So the first thing that happens, if you remember correctly, they were surrounded by...
They come upon a tower, like
this
underwater tower.
Yeah. So they're trying to find the third temple, the third like groove for the orb, and potentially some more power for Ford.
Yeah.
But we've got the Deep Scion, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. That's the weird like water creatures that are all around.
I thought they were Krulls.
Yes, Cthulhu's and Deep Scions.
Ah, Deep Scions. That's the other one I was trying to figure out. I know they're the Krull. I put up a picture of Krull and Deep Scions. Just for the hell of it.
Krull, I'm not sure how to pronounce. That's gonna...
It's two U's.
It's almost like Cthulhu.
Yeah. Cool.
Cool. Ah, cool.
Is that from Ghostbusters?
Probably.
Yeah.
Because I actually got to watch this episode live. Yes.
Yeah, and I caught some of it live.
First time in weeks I wasn't working a Friday for us, which is the Thursday that goes for you. So yes, but that meant I could be there in the chat, and I was shouting out to the multiverses and being like, "Hello, make some noise," and all that.
Apparently, he's at a rave when you're watching Critical Role.
Roll those nat 20s.
I don't think you've ever been to a rave. I'm starting to think.
I used to go to dirty grunge band, like...
Did you used to go to those raves that like that meme that always comes up of those like emo kids dancing in the parking lot? Is that the kind of...
No, so that is definitely faked, because there's no way those goths would be out during the day.
True.
Yeah.
True.
But, what was I saying?
Rave. Watching live.
Rave, yes! Which meant I got to be there in the chat, chatting to some multiverses. But more than that, I got to keep up with the chat, identifying the creatures, because they're becoming really, like, creepily good at going, oh, use this spell and it's got this many hit points. It's this creature.
Yeah.
So Scions and, the Cools.
Yeah, I mean, for those who don't know, we've mentioned a few times before, in New Zealand, the live episodes start around about 3 PM, 4 PM, depending on daylight savings.
Yeah.
So it's typically like right dab at the end of people's work day, so we don't typically get to watch it live because we're still at work.
Yeah. I wasn't rusted on, so I was very, very excited. I got some would say too many snacks. I couldn't really see my desk because it was covered in shit packets.
Yeah, because I was working until, 6 that day. So I just... there's no way I can watch it.
Dave's a dairy farmer. He works with this guy called Jared. And
dairy farmers finish like at 2 PM.
Yeah, they get up at like 4 in the morning.
Yeah, exactly.
I used to do that when
I work in IT, let's just say that.
Yeah. I used to work in IT and then it broke me because people are stupid.
Yeah. I am learning that.
Anyway.
Let's go with it. Roll with it. Don't make a big deal. It's cool.
Okay. So anyway, they're underwater now. They're still doing this really cool kind of battleground underwater thing. So you've got different ranges for ranged attacks because you shoot a crossbow and it kind of slows down.
Yeah.
Melee attacks have disadvantage because you're kind of going underwater. I find that's a really interesting way in combat encounter, but I'm kind of also done with it now. Like,
we've
had 3 underwater combats. I'm just like, okay, I get it. It's cool. It was fun. It was challenging, but
well, you can't really make it too interesting. It's always on a boat, though.
Yeah, no, I just think it was added some really cool restrictions and elements and things I had to think about to the combat. And one question I had, because maybe this could be NPC question of the week.
Okay.
Because I want to get people's gauge on this.
Because we always make it up as we go anyway.
We make our entire lives up.
Yes, pretty much.
The question is, Caleb was using some fire spells underwater. Now, it is magical fire. My question is, should a fire spell work underwater, even if it's a magical fire? Because I want to hear some debate on that. I want to know what you guys think.
Okay. Can a fire spell work underwater? Or should?
Yeah.
I reckon say should, because technically it does in this world. But should it?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess...
it's because it's murky because it's magical fire. But then it's water, so fire, no oxygen. But
it's a bit of a disadvantage though if you've got someone that's built the character solely around fire spells,
mage,
and then they're in this scenario and it just never works.
Yeah.
But the opposite isn't true because you can't really be in a room with constant fire.
But keep in mind, I mean, a lot of the monsters and the core books and such do have resistances and immunities, which means that a certain kind of damage will be. So it's not like unheard of.
Maybe they just have disadvantage.
Yeah,
fire spells.
But I tell me what you think and throw in your reasoning why you think that.
Yeah, that's the question of this week that we just came up. Anyway, so basically a good chunk of the first part of the episode is just this battle taking place because they're trying to get into this tower.
Yep. Claire's still throwing Bless out. Great spell. He does a lot of that. And essentially we get the big bad emerging halfway through the combat.
Yep. So if we do go to the how you want to do this, Not gets 2 how you want to do this is, and Jester gets 1. So it's
I've got Yasha.
Or maybe Yasha gets 1. Yeah. I know Jester gets 1 too.
Yasha gets
there was a lot of how you want to do this. I might have missed one.
Yeah. I do the acronym on my notes.
I do the acronym too.
Hey, do you have to like sound it out every time?
How you want to do this? Yeah.
Same. I still can't remember it.
So HYWTDS.
Yeah.
Or DT. Sorry.
Yeah. We also have Clay for the first time using Shield of Retribution, which is actually a homebrew already established item, but not the one that Matt is using. So Matt's got his own Shield of Retribution. So if you look it up,
Matt has a good habit of taking what's already established and tweaking it. He does that quite often.
And again, in the chat, when someone identifies a monster, sometimes they'll be like, "Oh, it's this," but Matt has taken it.
It's a good encouragement for DMs out there to realise, like, a lot of people say, we'll get into this debate differently, but taking the established rules, you don't have to stick to them.
No.
You can tweak them slightly to meet the story or to meet the kind of how you want the battle to go.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
As long as if it's player affected, you let the players know beforehand.
One of my favourite things to do when world building was to sit down and just create a creature from scratch, give them spells and hit points and some interesting things that they can do.
Yeah.
But we've also got some Phantasmal Force, which is a damn cool spell. I do believe that's one of Jester's newer ones. We've got Mud Chat I've written down, but I don't know why.
Mud Chat?
Mud Chat. I don't know what that refers to.
No,
so anyway,
bring the mind on that one.
Couple of how do you want to do this? They get into the temple.
Also, the plant life needs love. That was a quote
life
that came
needs love to live.
Oh, that came up after the plant life needs love.
Yeah. So for those of you keeping track of like the ancient quotes and such, it's now evolved. So life needs things to live is now life needs love to live, which is actually pretty good.
It's evolving.
It's got that rule of 3 in it: life, love, and live. Yeah.
Is that a rule of 3 or is that just a...
No, it's the rhythm.
Just words.
It's a writer technique. Rhythm, words, 3. People like 3.
Okay.
I need more coffee.
Yeah, you do. You got so... Like, this is the opposite. I've got more energy than Ollie right now. And it's kind of weird. I'm the mellow one. I'm supposed to be the mellow one.
This is why we don't do this in the morning.
Yes. This is why we should do it in the morning.
What we need to do is some kind of weird temporal time.
No, what you need to do is not play Warcraft till 1 a.m.
Hey, we got stuck in a party in a dungeon with the worst tank in history.
Then you should have just left.
It was... Well, I know, but we wanted to finish it.
So whose fault is this?
The tank's fault. In the temple they go. They find the orb recess. Again, it doesn't take too much. There's not too much of like a... solve these puzzles to get to the room, or it was more like a fight your way in, you've done it, here you go.
And also Mr. Clay is talking to the plants as well, so he's kind of asking permission for the Mighty Nein to go through them. It's a weird interaction.
Really falling in love with Clay as a character. He's still
after what he does later in the episode, yeah.
Would you say MVP?
Oh, I'm torn between Ford and Mr. Clay.
Okay. Yeah.
Mainly because of Ford's
strong.
story.
Yeah.
Actually, no, we'll go Mr. Clay because I'm mad at Ford.
Okay.
I'll tell you why later.
Okay, right.
Alright, Mr. Clay is MVP.
Cool.
There you go.
We need like an award that pops up, like a little trophy.
If we were good at editing, yes, we
I
would
could
do
actually
that.
just buy a trophy and just hold it up every
Okay,
time.
do you want to do that?
I've actually got one that I won from a show called Pandemonium.
So you went from buying one to just
around.
taking something you really got.
I was like, it costs money.
It's like, I could put an effort or I could just bring something from home.
What about if I just do a hand symbol? Like, this
Yeah, it's devolved into... How about we just I put something up, how about you just give it to me? I'll just put up a trophy.
I could do a bit of paper and it's just like, it would be such a low budget production. Yeah.
I like it always involves with you have an idea too. More work for me. Anyway.
I'm like, Dave, I came up with this thing, I'll take care of it, but if you could just help out with this bit.
If you could just do it.
This whole thing. Oh goodness, they investigate and they find a ton of crap.
It's funny because it's so true.
Well, you won't let me near the editing, so I'm
No, I let you do the editing. But it just doesn't happen.
It's just not as good.
But no, because I was just like, remember that cooking episode that no one's ever seen? What happened to that?
The great thing is no one's going to believe us when we say we filmed a cooking episode and didn't release it, but it's 100% true.
It's 100% true. What happened to that?
Well, then it's still on the camera and I've got it still on the computer.
Okay,
It might happen
I'll
yet.
wait for that. I'll wait for it.
Don't hold your breath, Dave.
Look out, guys out there, multiverses, you got to look out for a cooking episode.
It was the weirdest crossover. I had this idea for a cooking show. I thought it would work and it was just the weirdest crossover ever.
Anyway.
So they investigate, they find a ton of crap. Matt kind of goes, here's some reward, and they've got a bunch of magical items, which obviously Caleb takes, because he's the one that's got the identifier. They find a whole bunch of coin, which mostly Bo and Jester take.
Yeah. They were pretty low on funds as well, so it's probably a good thing.
Yeah, because it was so weird when they start talking about buying stuff, because I was so used to Vox Marketer endgame and just having like...
Just hordes of money.
No worry about it, but no, in earlier levels you really have to track that.
Yeah. Just also makes a joke about talking to the Traveller about Yucatoa. We'll cut to that clip because I think that's now is a good time.
One.
No.
Could you ask your god? Could you ask him if...
How do I do that, Chester?
Well, like, do it like I do to the Traveler, you know.
Does he just answer you when you talk to him?
Yeah.
He does?
I'm gonna start looking around.
Hey, Traveler.
Make an investigation check.
Yeah, he totally just said, what's up?
We're back. Yes, so the Traveller, Jester, she says that maybe you could help him because he's very kind and very sweet. I know you're there and I know you're listening, so please just help for it and look after him.
Now, Not does a bit of matchmaking here because she kind of forces Jester and Ford to kind of go together and do searching. Yeah. So it feels like they're trying to make this thing that I don't want to happen, the relationship between Jester and Ford.
Like
they're going to, and that's what annoys me because that's kind of scripted.
Well...
It's kind of scripted because there isn't... Ford has given no interest whatsoever that he's into Jester. It's all coming from Jester. And now it's kind of reached a point Travis is kind of like going, alright, I'll just go with it.
I was going to say, it reminds me of a time, ... and then realised that's not an appropriate story to tell.
Wow. Okay. Is that how you met Julia?
No.
Anyway.
Yeah, no, Dave has kind of been against the real relationship, in-game relationship kind of dynamic.
No, it's not that. It's mainly because it kind of feels forced.
Yeah.
I don't really have a problem with that being a thing if it fits the story and the characters.
Right, but you kind of said that you've been saying
it kind of feels
for a while.
forced, and it just kind of bugs me a little bit because it just feels like not an organic kind of relationship that would have happened in this universe, and they're kind of forcing it.
Okay, I can see where you're coming from there.
And Not is kind of playing into that as well, and they're trying to make it happen. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it.
One of my favourite things, actually, that's becoming canon in the last couple of episodes is girl talk with Not and Jester. Yeah. I love that. I find that.
I kind of like that because it helps that bonding moment, because I don't think there's been enough of that bonding. I mean, I think Bo and Ford have a good conversation about family later on. But they don't really have a lot of bonding moments one-on-one, and that's happening more.
My favourite... Sorry, I was like totally interrupting you. My favourite relationship that I actually want to see happen is Bo and Keg. I thought that was a great team up.
Yeah, I like that.
They would go so well.
We're definitely going to get Keg back again.
Keep Keg. Hashtag keep Keg. Bring her on as a regular character.
Oh, really?
Oh, hell yeah. I loved Keg.
You have to get rid of one person. Who would it be?
You. So, essentially... That
was uncalled for. That was just out of the blue, uppercut, low gut. Just
fatality.
Gut punch.
Finish him.
Anyway.
So we're in the temple.
Yes,
right,
so we're in the
finding
temple.
all recess.
They find that it's very similar to the temple that they've had been in before.
Yeah.
So because of what happened last time, they decide to leave Ford alone with Frumpkin, funny enough.
Yep.
And Ford was just going to plant his little sword in there and see what happens.
I'm so jealous that Caleb got sent like 4 knitted octi.
Those are awesome.
Why does no one ever send us cool?
I want to get. I'm hoping they're doing this behind the scenes. A little plushie of Frumpkin.
Oh, I'm buying that.
I want an Frumpkin plushie.
So essentially, Travis goes, "We need to search," and Matt goes, "Roll investigation." And he's like, "Oh, but I suck at that." And he's like, "Oh, whatever." And nat 20s, and they find a skeleton covered in armor, and they find the chamber and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Now,
we're in the chamber, because I kind of sketched that already.
Cast protection from evil, and then we see Ford alone in the room. And Ford says, let's see what this does, but not in his Texan accent. We've got his original, like, weird, actual, real voice, must be, because he's alone.
I don't get that. That hasn't really been explained why the accents are different, right?
No, we're still wondering, but the chat went fucking mental at that point.
Yeah. I don't... Oh, because Frumpkin, it does. Caleb mentions later on that he heard Ford in the original accent.
Yeah,
so Caleb now knows about the original accent.
Because Frumpkin was in the room with Ford.
Exactly.
Yeah, and he was.
So what does it mean?
Well,
it just means that, why is he faking it? Why is he faking the accent? That's what I want to know.
Couple of possibilities. He's on the run, and he's trying to hide. Only problem is he's.
But you think you would know that by now?
Yeah. He's also very distinctive.
Because we know quite a lot about Ford's backstory, about how he came to be.
He could be lying to the party. For a multitude of reasons. He could be maybe a high orc chieftain leader of a bloodthirsty tribe. That
before he got on the boat.
Yeah.
And that blew up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or maybe he'd been sabotaging the boat ride all along, and it wasn't Vandrin that set the explosives. It was him.
It's a big ploy. I mean, considering everything we've heard so far, that's a big kind of lie. Yeah, he's put a lot of effort into this lie.
But we get Ford's essentially what I'm calling real voice, because it makes sense. He was alone. Could be real voice, could be another one. I don't know. But anyway, the yellow eye emerges.
Yeah.
It says watching, adapt, and reward.
Yes.
I feel like the eye could probably do with some writing lessons, because one-word sentences kind of...
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, but it's an eye. It doesn't have a mouth, so it does a pretty good job for what it is.
Yeah, and there's also no brain that the eye is hooked up to.
It very reminds me of old gods from Warcraft.
Cthulhu?
Yeah, Cthulhu and those kind of those.
That guy was.
And the one that kind of warped Azshara into a Naga. You said that there's a good clip. I'll post it down below of what the eye I think what the eye looks like anyway.
Then we also get a vision of 3 cities, I believe. 3 cities and a forest jungle. It's later on in the episode, I think it's Jester, because she's from there, says that's probably the Menagerie Coast. So they might have the last location of the last temple.
Yeah.
We don't 100% know, but that's what the party assumes.
No. But then geysers start to blow up and the temple starts to collapse.
Yes.
And they kind of race to the top. I think Matt expected it to be a lot more challenging than it actually was.
Because they use control water and that kind of shit, and basically get out of it, and Matt kind of goes... Oh.
Okay, and this is the start of Matt's going, because something else happens later on.
Yes.
But they get out and they get back onto the ship, and Ford kind of tests to see if he's got powers, and he does now.
Yeah, he's got control water as well. Awesome. Yep. That's going to be very useful at a ship and with water.
But still, very vague of what this all means. Because, I mean, Ford's made it clear that he doesn't want to help Yucatola, but is taking the powers and kind of becoming a bit of a champion for him as well.
And
or him, her.
What is they? They use a neutral pronoun.
Yeah.
But yeah, quid pro quo, you help out the deity, it helps you, but... we also get something that I noticed from a DM perspective that I thought was amazing, which was the sheets that Matt hands out that tell you how everything on the ship operates.
So you should say a boat approaches, because
yes.
that's what prompts it. So they see a boat, I think the guy in the crow's nest come in, the guy's name, the guy that kidnapped. They see a boat approaching, and then Matt pulls out some ship combat rules.
Yes. Now it looks like Matt did not create these from scratch. He had taken something from, I think, Unearthed Arcana.
That's what he says,
tweaked it.
Yeah.
But oh my god, as a DM, I was just like, dude, that's awesome. That's such a cool toy to give the party, because it's huge and it's got stuff for everyone. It's got really interesting, unique rules and stuff that you can do that you couldn't do in any other encounter. I was like, dude, that's awesome.
And Matt's adapted it for this game as well. We spent about an hour on it. and up comes Mr. Clay. So as the boat kind of approaches, they all prepare for this. Mr. Clay kind of
actually says eventually let's run. But the other ship seems to be too
quick because it's a smaller ship, it's more agile and catches up with them.
Yeah.
And then Mr. Clay kind of just, as we did at the start, just pushes away into some reefs, just kind of.
And it just kind of...
And that's it.
Yeah. They lose, what was it, 2/3? No, a third of the crew survives, so they lose 2/3 of the crew.
2/3 of the crew.
And Mighty Nein is kind of like, ooh, sorry.
Yeah, but you were kind of attacking us.
Yeah.
Because they go and kind of loot the ship and kind of like investigate the ship. Because we meet... Who do we meet? We meet the Tax or whatever is it?
Yes, the Tabaxi. Seric Feng.
That's
the captain who survives.
Because there's 7 survivors.
Never
At this point, Matt's very unhappy.
Because he's like...
He does this thing, what DMs normally do. It's like, no, it's fine, it's cool, it's good, and secretly he's just like, oh.
Tearing up paper behind his desk.
He's like, no, that's what I love to you about. That's awesome.
I once spent like 2 hours making little like paper ships and stuff with grids on them because I was doing a ship encounter.
Yeah.
And they were like this far away from the pirate town. And like, actually, let's go back to City of Temples. And I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah. So a lot of DMs feel the pain of what Matt was going through, and even though he was putting on a straight face saying, "No, this is what I love. You guys did great," secretly he's just like, "Oh,
so much work."
Yeah, you can see the pain.
Next episode, it's like, "Oh, another ship shows up." It just keeps happening. Even when they're in a tavern, like out the window, you see their ship.
Yeah, and it felt like that was going to be the rest of the episode. Of dealing with this ship encounter, but obviously that ended, and they took them prisoner, dumped them off on an island as well, just to do some tattooing.
Yes, and talks about how difficult it is to crush the gems to make the powder, to make the enchanted tattoos with Orly.
So they decided to go back to Nicodramus. Now, this is the problem I have with just this episode. Okay. I would say, Ford specifically, they drop everything of this plot. So Ford does this all things like, I'm over it, let's do something else, and he goes, hey, Bo, should we go see your family? Or not, should we go see your family? And that felt forced and kind of scripted in a way that we specifically singled out those 2 characters to explore next.
Right.
And that's exactly what the episode kind of results in, of the fact that we're going to go see Nott's family. But there was nothing that organically led them to that conclusion other than the fact that they deliberately pointed out, oh, it's time for Nott's backstory.
Now, this is something we addressed on the last episode, and we asked you guys what you thought, and you guys put a whole bunch of comments down below, and that was, do you feel like Critical Role has changed significantly because of the fact that it's live streamed, it's very, very popular, and, you know, it's massive right now. A lot of you guys said, well, yeah, some aspects they have changed. It has become not like scripted, but more formulaic.
Yeah.
They know what people enjoy, so they do more of that. And some of you said, well, yeah, but it's a good thing, yeah, it's a bad thing.
This is a very good argument of the fact of that this didn't feel organic, right? Yeah. Am I being crazy, or is it...
2 different questions.
Because we haven't talked about it. But do you feel like that came out of the blue?
Okay, so I do think that I think rhythm might be the right word. They're kind of falling into this thing of
they feel like they need to do this.
Yeah, like let's do a joke, let's do a combat, let's do a serious RP moment, let's do a backstory explore.
Yeah.
So the formula is definitely kind of becoming preset.
Because this story of Ford and You Could Tow It isn't shut.
No.
But it felt like at that time they were like, we're done. We're going to do this now. Yeah. And it was just like, that wasn't organic word. That came out of nowhere to finish up that story.
Kind of like when you're watching a TV show and it gets to like the end, or maybe like a cliffhanger, and then it goes to the next character. Or,
it's kind of like we just witnessed an episode about one particular character, and then they were just like, all right, now we're going to focus on a different character. Yeah. And it just grinded me.
Like
it really grinded me when it came up.
You'd see in Vox Machina, especially in the early editions, that it's a lot more chaotic. They followed the arc, but they didn't have that kind of, oh, let's do this now, let's do that now.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. They kind of just discovered it and explored it as it went along. But I think the formula, as long as they're not pre-planning what they're saying, and as long as they're not Matt's not kind of pushing them to go in certain directions.
Yeah.
It remains true to D&D, but
I mean, I've been really looking forward to Nott's backstory and discovering that more.
Yeah.
It just I don't know. This didn't sit right for me, just personally.
Yeah.
But I'm going to excited to see what Nott's backstory leads to and what we discover about their family. It just bugged me.
Because we know about Nott's. I'm interested in the Nott's love interest. Are they still around? Is it going to become a thing?
Yeah, we mentioned that the halfling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the halfling on a nearby town. And also, why was Nott kind of shoved out of towns? I think, did we discover that? I'm pretty sure there was something vague about... I think they discovered it or something like that. Anyway, it's going to be very conflicting. There's going to be a lot of conflict when we go back there.
We also find out that Bo has a baby brother that she's never met, and that was kind of from the let's do a background little
dig, and it was kind of like, should we go this way? And then Bo was very hesitant to go that way, and then we're like, all right, this didn't work, let's try not.
But essentially, the family that had kind of cast her out finally had a baby boy, and they were like, yeah, your boy, we can raise him as a fighter, and he'll bring glory to our family. And they're like, well, we don't need you anymore. Kind of thing. So they sent her quite a harsh letter, apparently. Which was cool. I think it's an interesting backstory because now we've got this baby brother in the world.
Which we're probably going to discover later on. But, I mean, how many years ago? Is it actually a baby brother or just a younger brother at this point?
I'm not really sure. I don't think they told us.
I don't think it's told us at all. Mr. Clay also, you'll note, looks like Vandrin. Because he's just discovered who Vandrin is.
Yeah, exactly. So he kind of goes to his own room, does some scrying. I think he probably did it as a ritual because components is the only thing he had to spend for that.
Now, I don't think Matt was prepared for this, so the answer we got was very vague.
Short, and then he said that's all
he was out of sight and making amends.
Yeah.
And that was it.
So that almost actually, I was thinking about that just now, it actually almost seems like Vandrin was guilty. Because remember I said it could have been Ford that spent the ship.
Yeah.
It would have been Vandrin alone would not be making amends if that was the case.
But it also shows guilt.
Yeah.
It also shows that Vandrin is not a completely evil person.
Yeah.
It is someone that is regretful for what happened.
Yeah.
So we might explore that going forward. So it's a good little nugget. That's my word. To end that kind of storyline for now.
Yeah.
So we'll probably got to explore. Next time we dive into the Ford story, we'll probably discover Vandrin.
Bo also has a really good idea, which I thought was like the high level intelligent, which was take Ivanka's code that Caleb knows because keen mind, photographic memory, and if she can memorize it too, then her and Caleb can communicate in a secret language.
Well, the party, really.
Yeah, if they can all learn it.
Yeah.
And Matt said, well, it's not a simple cipher. It's formulaic. It's there's a lot to that deciphering process, but yeah, you can certainly try.
But they did give it to the pirates, so if they ever get discovered by those pirates again,
Bronzebeard,
and Darktoe,
he'll come and he'll piss in your eye sockets.
Bronzebeard, why Bronzebeard? He's like the leader of Ironforge.
That's all I can think of on the fly.
So the leader of Ironforge from World of Warcraft.
Playing World of Warcraft last night, so
yes, I do know you're playing World of Warcraft. Anyway, and we enter the harbour of Nicodramus, and that's where the episode ends. So we're back in Nicodramus, and let's see if there's anything that comes out of it.
Jess, teacher sprinkled to retrieve items.
That also happens with the weasel.
Yes. So, that's episode 47. And
yes.
That's us, and that's me leaving off camera to get my phone to go to the comments of the week.
So, yes, if you got any comments about anything we talked about, leave it down below. I get a real kick out of reading them. I'm terrible at replying them at the moment. But
I do. I reply
He does good. And I do definitely read them.
Yeah.
And it's very interesting. And it's getting harder to pick which comment we want to read out when it comes to this. Yeah. So what we do nowadays is we always read out the top comment of the week.
The one with the most thumbs up, because let's face it, life is a popularity contest.
Yeah, so who's reading it? Me or you? Because
you can read the thumbs up one.
I'll read the thumbs up. So this is from Lady Knight 24 times 2.
Which is...
Or x2. I don't know if it's times or x.
48. God, I'm good at maths.
Wow. You realise you just plus 24 plus 24.
Yeah.
48. You had to think about whether you got that right for a second there. You thought I was being real condescending. Anyway, thanks Lady Knight for your comment, and thanks for everyone that liked it. 7 likes on that one. Yeah,
popularity.
Meaty. Popularity contest. That's what YouTube is all about.
Yes. And all the other comments will be cast out.
Yes. In response to the question regarding the cast acting, I personally prefer their overacted performances compared to the more traditional D&D podcasts. It's one of their big perks that attracts me to Critical Role Cast and why it keeps me coming back. Also, Happy New Year, guys! And that's loud, but I don't want to yell. because I got neighbours.
Yeah, but we also do yell a lot on this podcast.
We do yell a lot, anyway. But yes, I have thought about this question since we posed it, and I agree. And there's so many D&D podcasts out there nowadays, you kind of have to stand out. And it's just like YouTube, it's just like any massive content out there, you kind of have to show why is your show different than anyone else's.
Yeah.
So that's what Critical Role brings. It brings a different aspect and different flavour to the D&D podcast world that's out there at the moment, because there's so many generic repeat ones.
What do we bring?
We bring consistency, because I don't think there's anyone else that does a review show for so long. So, consistency.
I was going to say sarcasm.
The accent, I mean, we're New Zealand. There's not a lot of New Zealand. I don't think there's another Critical Role New Zealand review show out there.
I think.
If there is, it's probably better than us.
Yeah, in fact, go and watch them.
Yeah, just watch us for our
hats.
You don't wear a hat.
I know, but yours is really good.
Oh, thank you.
The next question is Barori1. Hi, how's it going? Barori, I think could be Japanese, because those are Japanese phonetic characters, but I don't know. Okay. They say, Happy New Yak! And I was like, hey, that's kind of cool. I just got the Grand Expedition Yak on World of Warcraft, so yay. May all your games run nice and good, and all your players never have to skip a game because of timing issues. It's a nice dream, and maybe one day we'll be able to achieve it somewhere in the world, but not likely. This episode broke my heart, because you can tell that they've been holding on to the Azshara lore for like a year.
Agreed.
And wanted to have it come out in the open, so to have it happen in the last canon episode of the year seems like the best way to do it. MVP, of course, is Azshara, but also not, because, for real, she has to deal with Ford's condescending tone with more patience than anyone should.
That's very true. I did love that Azshara, because I recently rewatched it, and I really want more. Yeah. I want more, and it's annoying, because we can't get more. And we live in a world that we should be able to get what we want nowadays for free.
Maybe they should just have like a text and like, what do you think should happen next on Critical Role?
I would love to have a one shot with just Azshara. Yeah. Just to make it up.
Not even a DM.
Next time just sitting there, just Ashley there.
Yeah. I just want to hang out with you, Ashley. Really.
I just want me too. But just next time she's in town, do a one-on-one, because I've never really seen a podcast recorded like Critical Role of just a one-on-one, and I'm interested to see how Matt would make that interesting and make that flavour, and that I just want that.
Do you want to do another comment?
I'll do the last comment.
Oh no, I want to do another comment.
We can do 3. Oh, 4.
4. We'll do.
That record breaking here. So this is for Knight_Shine. Says, I don't get that somebody is from the future theories. So that's from a crazy Reddit theory. Where's our crazy Reddit theory for this year?
There was episode? Way too many because of Ford's real voice. I couldn't decide.
Really, or you just forgot?
I forgot.
Yeah, don't lie to our audience, Holly.
That's what I do.
I don't get that somebody from the future theories. It would make sense in a scripted show, but in a D&D game, to be from the future, they would have to live long enough to see the future and then somehow return to the past. However, as we know by Molly's example, any of them can die at any moment, so there's no guarantee that our dear squishy hobo wizard is going to survive to change the time. That's Caleb, for those that didn't know who the crazy hobo wizard was. And to bring Not back in return for himself. What I found out is Twiggy is actually a character she's used in many different games.
Interesting.
So it's not a character she designed just for Critical Role. It was a character she's carried on. And a lot of characters like Arkin. That's another character they've brought in from a different game. And a lot of guest characters apparently bring in characters they've established in other games to Critical Role. So Twiggy is just another example of that.
With the Wizards of the Coast Adventuring League, they now got a system where when you create a character, you get like a DCI number, and then you can use those characters anywhere in the world in any game.
Yeah, and I like that. I have a character called Stefan. It's the first D&D character I ever kind of played a lot with. And I still want to play him.
Do you know I found his character sheet the other day?
I've still got all of his notes. There's so much stuff that I've come up with that you never knew.
And my last comment for the week is Matthew Van Deninian.
Good pronunciation, Ollie.
That's how it's written, actually. It's Swedish.
Really? It's on the screen, so you know. You 2 lies in the space of 5 minutes, Ollie.
It's not even a record. So he says, because we asked if Clay was vegan or vegetarian, and I was like, someone out there must know. Apparently someone does know. He isn't vegan, he drank mead. Vegans don't eat honey. And then someone was like, maybe he's a smart vegan that knows eating honey doesn't harm bees at all. Bit of shade there. And then it was like, drinking milk doesn't hurt cows and vegans don't do that. More shade. And then I just commented with that.
Are you making me put up all these comments?
Yeah.
God damn it.
And then I just said, damn it, now I'm hungry. And then I'll just read some more comments that Dave has to put.
No. Stop. Anyway, but the whole like honey versus like veganism.
Honey
People,
versus veganism.
No. Like some vegans that I've met don't see honey as wrong.
I met someone that was on a diet where they didn't eat vegetables, fruit, meat, grains, seeds.
Because their argument is that as long as you're not harming the animal, it's fine.
Yeah.
And there are some methods of beekeeping and honey harvesting that doesn't actually harm the bees.
Yeah.
But because it's... But the other side of the coin is because we're taking a product away from an animal.
Yeah.
Because we're not really milking it from an animal. We're milking it from the product that they make.
Yeah.
So it's like we're not going to. It's not like a cow that you actually physically have to touch the cow to do it. They're just leaving the honey and it's honeycomb, and then you're taking the honeycomb. So it's a. I'm not a vegan, and to be honest, I don't like hurting animals. But my dad's a beekeeper, and he makes me honey. But I like to think he doesn't hurt the bees. I mean, we don't have massive bee deaths around.
This is a really long bee conversation.
Yeah, but your input into the conversation is really helping the conversation. So that was sarcasm. Anyway, thanks for watching.
I want some honey now. I might go buy some.
I've got some honey. I can give you someone's organic honey.
Can I just like have a spoon of it?
You can.
I'm having like honey salivation now, like that.
Anyway,
feeling anything about
thanks for watching. Another episode done. Make sure you leave a comment down below about the episode and engage with us. Also join our Discord because we're trying to get more people in there, and there's some people in there that really want a conversation, but because there's not enough people, we're not really having that at the moment. So
jump in and email us and subscribe and like the like button because it's there. It'll be liked and make sure you send us stuff.
God, you're really... This is low energy, Ollie.
I've spent every energy that I had on this last
Anyway, I'll finish it up, don't worry.
Okay, cool.
And this month, on the next 4 weeks, we're actually releasing 4, possibly 4 if a podcast involved, shows. Videos, I should say, on this channel.
Yeah, essentially we said that if our Patreon got about $50 a month, we would do 3 shows a week for that month, and it happened. And then they stopped that payment for next month. So,
we're still committed to a month of it. So if you want it to keep on going, our Patreon's down below. But this is a good opportunity to engage with us and tell us what kind of content you want us to do, because there's only so much we can do when it comes to Critical Role, and we like doing these review shows, but we want to do more. We want to do something that it doesn't feel like we're kind of milking of Critical Role all the time, because
but something that I'm really excited for that just got live on the channel that you can go check out is our World of Warcraft Let's Play.
World of Warcraft Let's Play.
I thought yours hasn't been
released. Mine doesn't get released until later on, because he's doing Alliance, I'm doing Horde, and we're doing them separately, so we have different experiences.
So we're going to level our characters like half an hour at a time, episode for episode, and at milestones we're going to fight in PvP to find out who out of Dave and Ollie is the greatest World of Warcraft fighter ever. So that'll be fun. Check that out. And there's a lot of other
It'll be me, but it'll be fun.
Not a chance.
Anyway, let's wrap it up.
$30. Yes, for myself, I'm the Dungeon Master, and
Dave.
We wish you a good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world. Love your friends, eat your vegetables, fuck the patriarchy, and
patriarchy, that's what you want?
That's a Hugo Girl quote.
Do you want a monarchy? What about
Later!
You want to disrespect the Queen?
Fuck off, Queen!
Really? Wow.
Assassinated.
Yeah. Well, you don't get assassinated for telling the Queen to fuck off.
Then fuck off, Queen. The band, because
don't get me started on Meghan Markle, people.
This is by the way, if you've never seen our podcast After Hours, it's just that without the Critical Role stuff
and chlamydia.
How long does it take you to find the clips? I imagine it must take a long time.
It depends on the clip that we jump to, because I don't plan it until we do record it.
What you should do is you should try and while you're watching decide what clip.
Oh, I did. But I just changed my mind. That's the problem. I don't know what clip that was for. That was the problem. But also, what helps is if you go to the actual episode on YouTube, people have timestamped certain events.
Oh, true.
So you can jump to it. So I know approximately where it is, but I have to download the entire episode, go through it, find that particular 5-second clip, and then put it into my episode. That's the last thing I do in the episode.